got a podcast. You on
Yeah.
ESPN Plus?
Yeah, I did ESPN Plus this past Saturday for the wrestling team. So yeah,
how'd it go?
it was pretty fun.
Well, so what did you do? Like, was that your first time commentating for ESPN Plus?
No, that actually was like my fourth time. It was my fourth time commentating. I did it sometime this past year. I would go on ESPN Plus with the school asked me here at UTC, and I would commentate the wrestling team, UTC wrestling team, because I used to wrestle on the UTC wrestling team. And
your freshman year, correct?
Yes, sophomore year. Yes, sophomore year. And then I got injured. And when I got injured, since I was at the time I was on a football scholarship, and like, I had transitioned over to try to do football and wrestling at the same time in college. Out there, you young people, please don't try to do two sports, depending on what it is. Don't try to do two sports in college. You can do it in high school. Oh, please play multiple sports in high school.
Yeah.
But in college, slow it down.
Ooh,
it was tough. It was tough to do all of them at once. But the main thing was, since I was playing football and that was my scholarship was coming from, I had to hold to that. So that's the reason why I stopped wrestling in college. But I was still very close to a lot of guys on the wrestling team, and knew of them. And then they gave me an opportunity to be able to commentate for them. So
so commentating, bro. It's we're probably gonna put this in the interview anyway. But I want to know your perspective, man. Like, is commentating something you would want to do after your career is over?
Yeah, I actually do. Well, see, I went to college and I wanted to be a sports analyst. I like to debate sports. I'll sit here and debate basketball. Like I do. That's the reason I got my podcast.
Yes, TNT podcast.
Yes, the TNT podcast with me and Tyler. Y'all go and subscribe. We on everything, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anything, you name it. But I ain't gonna lie to you. We debate sports, basketball, football, boxing, MMA. I mean, you name it. And it's fun because I never forget this quote from Max Kellerman. And he said it best. He said, there's nothing better than for you to just get paid to talk sports. It's barbershop talk. You do it in the barbershop. You do it at home with your family. You do it with your friends and just in the neighborhood. You do it at the basketball. You do it anywhere. But getting paid to talk sports, there's nothing better than that, man. So I enjoy it. I really enjoy the podcast. I enjoy doing the commentary of ESPN because it's a new element to it. Be able to call out moves and add your own twist to it. So it was fun in that regards. I really do enjoy commentating. So
that's amazing, man. Because it's funny because I graduated from UNCG. And so ESPN, they had ESPN3 there. They didn't have ESPN Plus. They had ESPN3 with us. And there was a good friend of mine at the time, Parker Southern. He did exactly what you would do. He was commentating, and I was a part of the camera crew of ESPN3. So I would film some of the women's games, the basketball games, and all that kind of stuff. Neat. Yes, sir. So you're kind of doing some of the similar stuff that I was doing back in college. So shout out to you. That's dope.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. The camera work, I've done some of the camera work. Well, I had to do some of it, through college. But that's some real work, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a little tougher on. I ain't gonna lie. I'm okay at editing, but it's about different camera angles that I need to work on. So that's probably more of me than anything. But the commentating part, I ain't gonna lie to you. I like to talk. So
same here, man. Same here. With me with the camera, it was actually the transitions. So when basketball players were when they would steal a play, I would have to focus really quick. Make sure real quick, because if you didn't focus real quick, it'd be blurry. And then you got Tony Hermain. Shout out to Tony Hermain. He'd be like, "What are you doing? What are you better do?" So it's but it was fun, man. It's funny because that's how actually I got my start doing this. So you're doing something that I did. So shout out to you for that.
Well, thank you very much, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
no, you
back on that. Okay, cool. No worries. So, man, you're a football player, you're a wrestler, two-time wrestling champion. But when did your love for sports begin?
Well, I like this one. Well, I want to say my love for sports began probably when I was born in October 24th of 1998. Bro. Look, let me tell you something. It's in the family. I mean, my granddad, he played basketball. My dad played football. My uncle played football. I mean, we are a sports family, and it's just embedded in us. And I ain't gonna lie, the Finney family, we're really competitive. I mean, when we play trouble, we be going at. We play Uno, we go at it. So we're really competitive. Like, ain't gonna lie to you, I really try to live up to the last name. I mean, the Finney family back, back at home. I mean, we're really competitive, and we try to be number one in everything that we do. And that really instilled in me still to this day to always be the best at whatever you do. And football to me, at first was like, and it's still dear to my heart, but it was one of the biggest things that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to play football. And, as time went on, this is probably a little bit of the story, but yes, I picked up wrestling in sixth grade. And I will take that back. Seventh grade, I tried to do wrestling in sixth grade, didn't get a chance to, but I kept trying to try it for the basketball team. Now, that's one thing I don't have. I don't have the basketball gene. So sixth and seventh grade, I tried out for basketball, didn't make the team, going home crying. But I hated. That's the thing about me playing sports. I hated going home because after football season, there's all these other sports, and I'm sitting here at home, and I'm like, I hate this. Like, I need to do something. So I picked up wrestling. Not gonna lie, when I first did wrestling, I thought it was WWE. I thought it was gonna be professional wrestling. Man. And when I first came in, the coach, his name is Jay Crook, my head coach in wrestling. He was like, if anybody think this is WWE, you might as well get out. And I ain't gonna lie, I said, oh, freak. Well, might need to get out. But I stuck with it, man. And I've been wrestling ever since seventh grade, about 12 years old. And I did really good. Won a championship my first year. Won it the next year in middle school. Freshman year, I wrestled and I broke my ankle. But then came back, recovered. After I recovered, got back to 10th grade. When 10th grade hit, got better, got sixth in state. And then junior and senior year, I went on one state back-to-back years. So it was really helpful. Being able to have that wrestling background. It also helped me in football, being able to have that football background, because I ain't gonna lie to you, I rarely missed a tackle. I didn't miss many tackles in football. So it really helped from wrestling. So, and especially me playing defensive line at the time in high school, it really helped me a lot.
Yes, sir. You were 40-0 as a senior in wrestling. Just take us through that that undefeated season of being.
Oh man. Well, senior year was it was really fun, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was a incredible season for me. I will do this first. I'm gonna take you back to junior year when I won state. Now I went 44-4 junior year, but I wrestled this guy, and this is really helped me my senior year. I wrestled this guy who never lost a match in Georgia. His name was Aaron Gallagher. He never lost a match in Georgia for 2 years straight. And he was a beast. Everybody projected him to win a state title at 195. He was going to a big-time college. He had big-time offers. Then he wrestled me at sectionals. He beat me 11-9. And I never forget when I told Coach Crook, I said, look, I guarantee you I will not lose to this man again. I will see him in the state championship. And if anybody know anything about the state tournament, you got to wrestle guys before you get to the tournament. To the state championship. But I was so determined on him. I spent the whole week. He was really good at the low single. I spent the whole week practicing how to just, trick him out of the low single. And he would catch it on everybody. And he had beaten a previous run-up for 195 state championship 15-0. So, he was really good. And it helped me because when I got to that state championship match, it was more of all heart. I'm not gonna lie, probably in skill level, he probably was better than me at that time, but it was all heart, and we went back and forth. It was an incredible state championship. I won 10-8 in overtime, but I will tell you, he had took me down early in the match with the low single. So, we keep wrestling, and I needed a takedown real quick, to take the lead after the second period. So all week, that low single we've been working on, I left my ankle out there because anytime somebody got heavy on their front foot, he would take it away instantly. I said, okay, I'm literally thinking about this. I had my front ankle out. He went for the low single, bang, kicked the back, caught him around the chin drop, pin him right on his back, got back points. And then it went to the third and then eventually went overtime. But that was a monumental point of the match because I gained 4 points off that one reversal. And it changed the match and me winning 10-8. So that type of when you beat somebody to that high caliber, it gives you confidence. And it gives you those type of confidence to where you say, man, I can beat anyone. And that helped me senior year. Not a single time did I ever go into a match thinking, man, this is going to be tough. I went into the match thinking I can beat this guy because I've been a better wrestler. And I wrestled some tough guys. I beat the 220 state champ. I beat two 220 state champions and a 195 champion in another weight division. And I beat them like it wasn't close because my confidence was there. And also my skill level was there. Also, I got stronger and just wrecking through guys. And yeah, senior year was the year for me winning that state title. And also I went to nationals and I went all the way to the Elite 8 in nationals. And I was one match away from becoming an All-American. Man, wow. I still wrestled the number one wrestler in the nation at Virginia. He went to Virginia and man, it hurts me to my heart. But I caught him basically in the head and arm and I put him on his back and I had him pinned. And I don't know how he squirmed out. Good Lord, I don't know how he squirmed out. But it was a close match, but he beat me 11-8. And out of everybody in that tournament, he pinned every single wrestler in the first period except for me. We went the full distance. And yeah. And that was tough. That was tough. But those type of moments is what helps me build my confidence up. So yeah.
Exactly. So you advised the listeners to not play 2 sports in college, but you could play multiple in high school.
Yes, do it in high school. College is a different story, big man.
Different story. It's possible. I mean, Russell Wilson did it, but I don't know.
It is possible, but it depends on the sport. Like, for instance, we had a guy play basketball after football, but if something as strenuous as if anybody, college football is just tough in itself. That's a job.
Yeah.
Then you want to talk about college wrestling. Imagine waking up at 6 a.m., going to do runs, then football workouts, then wrestling practice, then meetings, then another is like lighter, whatever that is, light wrestling practice. That man,
that's tough.
I was like, no, man, no. I'll just say don't do football and wrestling in college. I just say, well, some people have, but if you want to be able to do something, you need to breathe.
Yes, sir. So in high school, though, because you played multiple sports, what sport do you believe you were best at, and what sport did you actually enjoy the most? Wrestling? Wow.
See, you sound like a recruiter because this is the question that was coming up for me. When I was getting recruited to go play to do these same sports, bro, that was the question, and that was really helped me back because I could decide between either one. I was between football or wrestling, man, and I could decide. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Looking at football, I think I ain't gonna lie to you, to be honest. I don't like to really toot my own horn, but I think I was pretty good. Played nose guard. Junior year, I led the state of Georgia in sacks. I had 24.5 sacks. And I was actually 1 sack away from breaking the Georgia state record.
Who has the record?
What is his name? Oh my goodness. I think I know exactly who it is. Wait a minute. It was around 2009, 2010. I'm trying to remember the school. It's gonna come right to me. Oh man, it's gonna come right to me right when I need it. But I'm trying to think, but he had the record, but yes, in junior year, I had 24.5 and the record was 25. And if anybody, a lot of people back at home that's probably gonna watch the interview know we lost the Mays on a Hail Mary at the end of the game, which is sad because we would have probably went to the next round and more than likely, I probably would have broke it in the Final Four or the state championship. But I had a really successful football career, man. I had a lot of different opportunities, but wrestling gave me more opportunities. I mean, I had a lot of D2, NAIA, Division III offers. I had a lot of preferred walk-ons to some Division Ones, but it was because of my height. A lot of people looked at my height. I had the size, the weight, You know, I was heart driven. I mean, it was just my height. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm only 5'6". So and a lot of people look at that, but to me in wrestling, that was my advantage. You know, a lot of people look at me and be like, you know, you got to go against a tall guy. You got to wrestle a tall guy. I was like, I wanted to wrestle tall guys because it was easy for me to get under them. And I was quick, you know, I was quick, I was strong. So those type of things that really helped me in the long run. But if you want to talk about my passion, I would say there's a reason why I keep coming back to it. I will have to say wrestling. Every time I leave wrestling, I always find a way back into it. I mean, to be honest, that's one of the main reasons why I'm in MMA is because I keep finding my way right back into it. I just can't let go. Like, it's so funny. My mom calls me and she like when I got injured in wrestling my sophomore year, and she was like, all right, you know, no more wrestling. That's it. I was like, I agree. Because I broke my ankle my freshman year, and then I got hurt again. I was like, yeah, that's right. No more wrestling for me. And then 2 years later, I'm doing MMA. I just can't let it go.
That's amazing. Like, just explain, like, you know, because you talked about how busy you are. I mean, being somebody who's still a college student, being somebody who's playing football. You're currently playing football. Is that correct?
I actually just graduated. I just graduated in November.
Okay, congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you, brother.
But you had your first fight. Did you have your first fight as an amateur when you were still in college?
When I was still, yes. Actually, a lot of people don't know this, but when I fought my first fight, I fought it after we had a football scrimmage the same day. We had a football scrimmage earlier that day. And and plus I was second string nose guard at the time here at UTC. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man, bro. we did like over like 70 reps. And after our coach, I ain't gonna lie to you, this is what gets me. After my coach made us run sprints, we had to run 12 100-yard gashers. And you know, I ain't gonna lie, I love my teammates because that's how you know they're a really good team. They would ask me, say, Finney, are you gonna be all right for your fight? I was like, I hope so.
That's crazy.
I was like, I hope so.
How did your coaches and your teammates, how did they support you in your wrestling career that you wanted to be a wrestler?
Yes, they did. They really did. A lot of guys, you know, they would come, you know what, before, I ain't gonna lie to you, the coach was actually going to plan. We were going to have a home match before I got injured. And, you know, on the home match, he was going to get the whole football team to come out and come watch me wrestle. Then I got hurt. So, but a lot of my teammates came to my first MMA fight at the time. And I really enjoyed that. They saw it. They all got mad at me. They said, we want our money back. I think the ticket was $25 because the fight only lasted 11 seconds. So
hey, wait a minute. That's why people love Mike Tyson. People love Mike Tyson because he was knocking out people.
He was knocking folks out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Man. They were paying hundreds of thousands of dollars just to see Mike Tyson beat somebody in 2 rounds.
In 1 round. You know,
one round. There you go.
You know, in his first year, he fought 15 times. He fought every 2 weeks, knocked everybody out in the first round. Second round.
Good Lord.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Yes, it's crazy.
Man.
So, speaking of the fight game, speaking of wrestling, you have upcoming fights. You're actually fighting a light heavyweight championship coming up, a Valor Fighting Challenge, February 5th, I believe. It got pushed back. Right. One, how are you mentally preparing for the fight, especially during COVID? And you're also facing a guy who's got some more experience than you. How are you dealing with that as well?
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. Right now, to be honest, COVID really haven't affected my training at all. I mean, it's just, you know, we've been training a lot. I was really training big time. I had went home for a previous moment. And then came back up here to Chattanooga, where my home gym, Agogi, is where I train at. And I get a lot of tips. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm around a lot of good guys. I was around a guy named Amun Cosmo, another former, when I used to train, when I was training back at home, his name is Bubby Mitchell, a black belt in jiu-jitsu, big time. Another guy named Cole Miller, who fought in the UFC. I was around him. Now I'm back here. I got some pro guys that is actually fighting tomorrow on Valor. The pros, Logan Neal, Greg Hopkins, and Bubba Bad News Cruz. That's right, baby. So yeah, having those type of teammates around you, and you're constantly getting that type of, iron sharpens iron, basically. Yes. And you're getting that every single day. I mean, they're coming. I mean, this gym, we're big time right now. And to me, I think we're one of the best in Tennessee, if not the best. And every single day we're doing it, and we're going at each other, and we're doing it smart, though. We're not trying to knock each other's head off, but we're going at it smart, and we're training really good. And I think I prepared them really well for their fight, and they all obviously is helping me prepare really well for my fight. So I'm excited. I can't wait. I ain't gonna lie to you, because actually today would have been fight day for me, for me and Tristan. But no worries. I mean, you got to be ready. This is what comes. This is what's a part of the game. I mean, we've seen it a lot within the UFC, and that's one of the main goals, which in the long run, I would like to attain. You got to be prepared. So, and this is nothing new. I'm a little bit used to it. I remember my sophomore year, it was snowing in Georgia a lot, and they kept pushing back the state tournament. And you just had to keep wrestling, you had to keep being prepared, you had to keep going. And it helped me really well, because I did pretty well. I placed top 6, but I was a sophomore. I went against all seniors. I was doing really well. But yeah, and that's what you got to do. You got to always be ready. So I truly believe I'm ready right now, and I know for a fact that I will be ready on February 5th. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How does faith play in part, not only as a fighter, but as a man?
Well, amen to that. Yes, sir. Well, in anything that I do, you got to put the Lord first. And that's one of the biggest things that I've always had to do, especially in life. I mean, and I ain't gonna lie to you, there's this coach for me. His name is Larry Scott. He is a big man. He is an incredible person. And he's really dwelled a lot in the Lord. And to have a coach like that really speaks to where, I mean, today he sent me a Proverbs 8, reading about that. And he just constantly, sending me Bible verses, but also sending me tips on fighting and, getting better, because I don't necessarily fight because I'm mad. I mean, I love the sport, but behind it, you got to know the main purpose. And so I'm trying to use my light to shine to others. And, and the main thing is, I am really blessed to have my granddad. He's a pastor within he's a pastor within my family. My uncle's a pastor. Having that type of those people to idolize, well, not necessarily idolize, not, what I'm trying to say. Well, having those people to follow necessarily. Yes. And to be able to walk life with them and see all the things behind the scene. And my granddad, he's a big example for me. If anybody want to ask me who my role model is, it is my granddaddy. I mean, I really like him. Like in the sport I want to have the same figurehead as he has, as him, as being a pastor, in the things that I do, the respect that he has. So, in times I believe I'll get to that point, but man, I really enjoy the way he has, helped me in my life. So yeah, that's really.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what are your personal keys to success? And also, what does success look like for Torrez Finney?
Well, my personal keys to success is to, go out there and do me. A lot of people, when some people fight, they don't, or necessarily in anything they sport, they sometimes miss the point of what you're doing. When you're looking for success, you got to go out there and do it the way that you feel necessarily is right for you, instead of sometimes following in other paths or going the wrong path. And necessarily in that meaning is not understanding what your goal is. What is your goal? Like, what are you trying to attain? And for me, success, I would say, is to be the best that I can possibly be. And whatever way that I can do that, then I will try. Like, my best is to keep working and always get better. That's why I keep working. I mean, that's why I always train. I'm always training. Ever since, and a lot of people don't know this, but I just started MMA probably, when was it? I'm June. I started MMA late June. I started boxing last year. it wasn't consistent, but I started boxing because of football. But I started boxing last year, and then I took up an amateur boxing fight. But I ain't gonna lie, the guy pulled out, and there was only one guy left. And the only guy left, he had 6 fights under his belt. And me being a competitor, I was like, man, forget it. I'm going against anybody. If he want to do it, let's do it. So I went against him. I actually won the first round. I took it to him. But see, that's the difference between boxing and MMA.
Yeah.
If you get a knockdown or get a flurry where you're beating up on somebody, the referee stops you and give him a count, and you do go do it again. See, MMA, you keep going until the referee, and once the referee stops you, you win.
Yes.
So that was, and I ain't gonna lie, I went in the best shape. His skills were much better than mine. I had only been boxing for 3 months. He had been boxing for 3 years. So it was a mismatch, but I went the distance, and I ain't gonna lie. I mean, a lot of people tell you did really well. I really hate that performance in my eyes. But I kept working, and I knew in the long run, I said, I want to go back to MMA. And like I said, went back to wrestling.
Yes, sir.
That's why that's what I'm putting all my hard work into. Like, I put all my hard work into doing this because I want to be the best at it. That's why I'm going after it. That's why after my fight, I told Tim, like, I literally said on the mic towards the Tim Lloyd, I said, I heard that light heavyweight championship is vacant. And I said, it's going to be around my waist. I guarantee you that. And I just know the way that I work, how hard that I work, and the way that I approach things, that belt will be around my waist. So that's the way I always approach things, to be the best at whatever I'm doing, to be the best at commentating, to be the best at doing this podcast, to be the best at, heck, I got my dog right here. Be the best dog keeper that I can possibly be. So
I like it.
You just got to be the best at whatever you do in anything.
Exactly. But I have a question to ask you about boxing. So when you train for that, did you train as a heavyweight? Because
yes, I did heavyweight. Yes, I did heavyweight.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. So I go to Trifecta Fight Nights, and that's basically it's in High Point here in North Carolina, and they have guys about your size, about 5'8", 5'6", and they're muscular, chiseled, and they're just dogs. They don't swing. It's just straight swinging, and it's just like I can only imagine the difference between wrestling and then MMA and then boxing. Not only, but you're heavyweight, and you just got a bunch of big,
bunch of men. Yeah. Woo! See, that's the thing. I ain't gonna lie. The way I started boxing, that's exactly what I did. I went out there just swinging. Now, since I know how to fight, I know, I really believe this. If I was to fight this guy again, because my boxing is much, much better, I would be able to, do much better, if not be able to finish him. I understand angles now. I understand, how to conserve energy. And I just understand, like, my game, how to use my body to my advantage. And a lot of people don't understand. I have a lot of different things that really help me out as a fighter. So that catch a lot of people off guard. But, I can't wait. A lot of people really, they don't know me yet as a fighter. They only seen 11 seconds of a fight. But February 5th, you will know who Torrez Finney is. I'm telling you, man. Look, I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And I just really get an opportunity to express basically a majority of all my skills. If the fight goes that long, then so be it. If not, then it is what it is. I get an opportunity to show all of my skills, and I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
How do you visualize the fight going in your head? Because, like, when people see you, they see you that you're a wrestler. They might not know your boxing background. They might not know that you're working in jiu-jitsu. Like, what are some of the things that you're willing to? Let me see. What do you think people, when they see you, what do you think they think of you as a fighter? But how do you visualize the fight going?
Well, I think people see me when they see a big guy like me, they think, oh, he's coming to swing and bang. But not necessarily. I can swing and bang if that's where the fight. Sometimes you're gonna have to brawl some people, and if that's the case, I am surely ready for that. I mean, I can do that with some of the guys I've trained with. we've done some brawls, so I can do that. But necessarily, a lot of people probably going to look at me when they see me fight they probably going to expect like a knockout type of guy or very Tyson-esque. But I mean, I can get to that point, but I want to be smoother. I want to be cleaner. And I have a lot of different skills to show that. And I think the way that I see this fight going is me really trying to control what I can control. And I am, I wrestle the way I fight a little bit. I'm dominant. I'm going to keep that pressure on you. I'm going to be in your face. I'm going to be walking you down. So you have to be prepared, and, some people, don't understand, pressure until they actually see it. So, it's going to be really interesting to see how Tristan come out. I watched some film on Tristan. He has a lot of good things that he does. I'm looking forward to fight him. We're prepared and, prepare for anything that comes. Whatever he's ready for, I will surely be ready for as well. But I think this is going to be a great opportunity for me to show a lot of my skills. So I can't wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So where can people find you on social media? And do you have a YouTube channel people can look at?
Well, on social media, you can follow me at Punisher Torrez on Twitter, Instagram. Now I got a Facebook, Torrez Finney Jr. I just got a Facebook. So. But we right now currently do not have a YouTube channel right now, but we actually are looking into that, especially for the TNT podcast. So if anytime you get an opportunity, y'all just stay on the lookout. Also follow us at the TNT podcast and on Twitter, Twitter and Instagram, and you will see all of our content, all of our videos, or anything else that we have for the week. But overall, man, I'm excited, and also give a good shout out to my boys as they get ready for their fight tomorrow. They just got done with weigh-ins. Their text messages keep coming up with what they weighed in at. So
Sir.
They're getting ready to do their thing. So I can't wait.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you know what? Actually, I want to transition to football. You know what I mean? Because football is one of my favorite sports. It's one of your favorite sports. So I'm curious to from your perspective, who are your top 5 best football players of all time? And also, who are some of the big, strong defensive players that you looked up to and said, man, I want to go out the game like he did?
All right. I'm going to do the second question first, then the first question.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
One of the guys I idolized a lot when I was growing up was James Harrison, Troy Polamalu, and Lawrence Taylor. Those were some of my favorite, and I mean favorite football players. Now, yes, obviously, I looked at things with guys like, I'm a Steelers fan as well. So those
How
Steelers.
How you from Tennessee and a Steelers fan? Yeah, what's going on, Derek?
Look. See, I'm actually from Georgia, but yeah, I went to college in Tennessee. But let me tell you something. A lot of people ask that same question, but see, when I was growing up, I was a defensive player, and guys I watched. I mean, yes, I watched the Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, but there was just something about watching Polamalu and Harrison coming off that edge. It used to be exciting. And then people used to tell me, watch that Lawrence Taylor, look at his pass rush. And then I used to watch the Lawrence Taylor. I'm like, oh my gosh, what a man. And so it was like, oh my goodness. Like, so it was watching all of those guys, they really inspired me, getting off the ball quick, using your hands through pass rush, staying low. Like, and I ain't gonna lie, all right, this is a good story that probably we played my senior year. All right, we played Gun Academy, and we played this quarterback named DJ Dallas. He actually plays in the NFL now. He plays for the Seattle Seahawks. He was a quarterback for them. And in that game, I had 26 tackles. And It was our playoff game. It was my last ever game. And, Glenn Academy had the ball. They were kneeling the ball. And we all, how we crying, boo-hoo, and called timeout after every knee. And my coach was like, then we had one timeout left. My coach was like, don't do anything stupid. Just, lose with dignity. We lost, but we was only down by 3 points. Take it back. We was down by, we were down by 5 points. Take it back. We were down by 5. And my friend behind me, my Logan, he said, you should just hit the ball, do something. It don't matter. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. I was like, let me try that. Because I remember used to doing that in rec league. So they would go on the same cadence. He would say, down, wide 80, and he would go on a knee. Right when he said down, right when he said wide 80, He said, wide 80. I smacked the ball away right after the receiver getting ready to snap it, and we recovered the ball. And while they was kneeing the ball down, and I was like, oh my gosh, that stuff actually worked. But, we couldn't get the ball in the end zone, so it hurt us. I know, man. That would have been a story for a lifetime. We couldn't get the ball in the end zone, but it is what it is. But now you want to talk about top 5 players. All right. Now, I'm a little bit of an old school guy myself. I know some of these old school guys. But I'm going to start with 5. 5, I'm going to have to go with probably – it's going to be tough just to do for 5. But I'm going to go with Barry Sanders.
Ooh, wow.
I think he's the greatest running back ever in NFL history. We got something right here. Okay. The only reason I say I think Barry Sanders is the greatest running back ever is because the yards he was attaining, he was getting nearly 1,600 yards a year without an offensive line or a quarterback worth 3 cents. And he retired early. And at the time that he retired early, he retired 3rd all time, only playing 9 seasons in the NFL. Imagine if he would have played the 6-7 years, guys like Walter Payton or like guys like Emmitt Smith would have played.
Yeah, true.
I think he would have passed that.
He had a couple offensive linemen that went to the Pro Bowl. I want to put that out there. It's not like he had terrible. He had a couple. It wasn't like that. Now, granted, I know he didn't have Emmitt Smith's offensive line. That was arguably the greatest offensive line of all time. But he had a couple Pro Bowls. Just want to put that out there for the people.
He did have a couple Pro Bowls, but what to the extent of like, heck, Walter Payton even had a much better line than Barry Sanders. That Bears offensive line was ruling. Heck,
yeah.
But 4, I'm gonna have to go with. Who is 4? Okay, 4 might have to be a quarterback. I'm gonna say, this is tough. I'm gonna say Peyton Manning. All right.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
I'm gonna go Peyton Manning at 4. 3, I'm gonna go Joe Montana.
Oh, I like that.
This is gonna be an interesting list. Okay, see now this is where a lot of people are gonna get at me. Because I'm a fan of like when we talk about the greatest football player. Take that back. Okay, take Peyton Manning out. Take Peyton Manning out. Pick Montana at 4. Pick Jim Brown at 3. All right.
Ooh,
we have to remember Jim Brown, what he did, and the impact he had on the game, and like majority of any NFL person like that's in the league, they consider Jim Brown to be the greatest football player of all time. But then you go to people more modern, and this is where I disagree with a lot of people because now, yes, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Yes, Tom Brady. Congratulations. But I got to pick Tom Brady at 2 right now. The reason why is because if we're going to talk about greatest football player, my greatest football player got to be an athlete in some type of way. I mean, he can't be running the 5-2. He can't be. I mean, I'm not saying because let's be honest. Tom Brady is not even the most talented quarterback in NFL.
No, he's not.
He's nowhere. I mean, Peyton Manning more talented than him. Aaron Rodgers is. Heck, I could say Joe Montana was more talented.
You could honestly make the same point about Michael Jordan
and LeBron.
You know what I'm saying? Like, LeBron. Well, see, the difference between LeBron was always naturally gifted. He was always number one.
That's right.
Michael Jordan had to work. You know what I'm saying? He got cut by his high school coach. I mean, in college, he hit the game-winning shot, but he wasn't the best player on the team.
He wasn't the best player on the team.
I know that they go back and they now say, well, Jordan was the best player. No, he was not the best player on the team. At the time, he was not. Stop lying. Because in my opinion, Tom Brady has that Michael Jordan mentality of I'm a dog.
He does.
And killer mindset.
Yeah, and see that's the difference. And you know what? And here's gonna be my number 1. My number 1 to me is Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is number 1 in yards, catches, and touchdowns. He is number 1 in yards by over 4,000 yards. He's number 1 in touchdowns. He has 196 touchdowns as a receiver. You want to know who is second place? Randy Moss with 154. This man has 40 more touchdowns than second place, man. And then catches is not even close. This, to me, Jerry Rice, and then he played multiple seasons, and he was effective every season. When he went to Oakland, he was effective. I mean, we all know what he did in San Francisco. The only team he wasn't really effective on was Seattle, but I mean, he didn't really do nothing there. But he still caught touchdown passes for him. But and like you were saying, talent-wise, I think yes, Megatron is more talented. I think yes, Randy Moss is more talented. But when you talk about work ethic, hard working, just always being there, because you got to remember when Randy Moss played in the playoff game for the Minnesota Vikings and he quit at halftime because he wouldn't get the ball. That type of stuff to me is what pulls you slowly out of the GOAT conversation. That hurts you. Same thing with LeBron. I mean, yes, I think LeBron, I ain't gonna lie now. See, a lot of people gonna get me. See, I'm a Michael Jordan side, and I always argue against guys like so I gotta be mindful of what I say because they're gonna use this against me. But I will say there are some things LeBron, yes, he does do better than Jordan. But I will say this. The way Michael Jordan approached certain things, and then everybody going to always go pull out some small outliers, saying, well, look at what Jordan did here. Oh, look at LeBron. Yes, LeBron can pass better. But I want to throw out a lot of things about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan could also pass the ball. Heck, when B.J. Armstrong got hurt at the beginning of the season, I think in 92, I believe, in 90 was one of them. He played 10 straight games at point guard and had a triple-double in every single game. A lot of people don't remember that. But guess what? They don't care to remember because they don't go back and do their research. But yes, Michael Jordan could pass the ball. Then two, you want to talk about rebounding? I mean, yes, LeBron should have rebound, but 6 to 7 rebounds for Jordan average is really good. You can't take that away. And then the 30 point, he averaged the most points all time in NBA history. I mean, yes, he's a shooting guard, but it just there's a lot of different things that you have to throw in, for people. It's a long argument. That's a long argument.
It is. It's an impossible argument, bro. It's an impossible argument. I mean, I have my list of top 5 NFL players. But also when it comes to Jordan, right? And I've been back and forth with this, man. Because like for one, when you look at Jordan, right? Jordan didn't win anything in the 80s. The 80s was the best era of basketball.
Yes, it was. It was hard.
And Michael Jordan won nothing in the 80s. That's a fact. That's no lie. I mean, he didn't win anything. Yeah, he didn't win anything. And he didn't win anything. That's a fact.
He didn't win championship, but he was winning. He was winning MVPs. He was in dunk contests. He was winning defensive player of the year.
Hey, look. At the end of the day, if you don't look, what did I say about Giannis? What did they say about LeBron? You can win the dunk championships. You can win the MVP. You can look. Jordan's won 10 NBA scoring championships. That's never been done in NBA history.
Never. That's right.
Shout out to him. But let's think about it. He ain't win nothing in the 80s. In the 90s, when Larry Bird had a bad back, Magic Johnson at the end of his career, Dr. Dre was gone. Kareem was gone. Then you had a bunch of young cats who were scared of Michael Jordan. Ain't nobody was on Michael Jordan's level as a shooting guard. I mean, he had Reggie Miller, who was good, but he ain't better than Michael Jordan.
No, he was better.
He was good. He wasn't better. He wasn't. They weren't anywhere near Michael Jordan's level. He was dominating everybody. Okay,
I like that. But I'm gonna ask you this. What about those Knicks teams that were leading the NBA at the time? Because those Knicks teams were really good. What about that Suns team? See, a lot of people don't understand. Charles Barkley played for the 76ers first. Yes, he did. And he the 2 times he made the playoffs in the East, he got put up by who? The Chicago Bulls, back-to-back years. Okay, bang. Let me leave the East. Let me go to the West. Oh, he went to the West, won MVP, had the number 1 seed in the West, but then ain't even had a better team. Then he said, man, look who I got to run to in the finals again. Michael Jordan. See, that's the difference between me, because the 90s had good players. They just didn't win with Jordan. Once Jordan got 1 All-Star, the moment he got 1 All-Star, the first time he got the All-Star out of Scottie Pippen, yes, they lost in 7 games to the Pistons, but he lost in 7 games because Scottie was sick. I mean, yes, you do need help.
Only one team has ever won with just 1 All-Star.
And what was that? The Rockets with Akeem Olajuwon?
It was 2. No, he had some All-Stars. It was actually I believe it was the 77 Portland Trail Blazers.
Okay.
And also, you can make a point for the Dallas Mavericks in 2006, but
Yeah,
they had Hall of Famers and they had
Hall of Famers.
pros.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? They had Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd's a Hall of Famer, but he didn't have a great year because he was old. Okay.
Bill Walton. That's right, Bill Walton.
Bill Walton. Yeah, 77. Right. But here's my point to you. Like you said they had great players, but if they were so great, how come they couldn't get to Game 7 in any of the finals that Michael Jordan played in?
That's what makes Jordan good. That's what makes Jordan. See, I'm just saying. See, we're knocking Jordan. You can't knock Jordan because they can't beat him.
They can't beat him. They could look. I'm just gonna say this: LeBron James, had to face tougher competition in his prime, bro. In his prime, bro, he had to face. The Warriors had the greatest offensive lineup in history, bro.
He played the toughest competition in the finals, in the lead up to the finals. No. The path to the finals, it was not. See, there's a difference. Yeah, see, there's a difference because when he had to play those Pistons, he didn't play the Pistons with B and Wallace. He didn't play those Pistons in 07 because if he would have played those Pistons, he ain't making it to the finals. Well, I don't believe.
Well, look, he actually faced, but you see, the thing about LeBron is LeBron faced those Pistons teams, and he got beat by them. That's true. That's what I'm saying. He got beat by that tough, solid Pistons team. He got beat by the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, his competition was Tim Duncan. His competition was the Pistons. His competition was the Warriors.
The Warriors are tough. I think the Warriors are really tough.
Like Michael Jordan never had to face that level of competition in the finals, bro. He just did not.
He didn't have to face it in the finals. But see, this is what gets me. He almost faced it in the finals out of the Houston Rockets, 97 and 98.
When he was retired, when he was playing baseball.
Oh, no. That actually happened in 95. But 97, 98 with the Rockets. I don't know if a lot of people remember. The Houston Rockets had Charles Barkley, Jason, the Jet. They had the Jet. Then they had Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler. You had those four guys on one team, but who they lost to? What happened? To Utah Jazz. They lost to the Utah Jazz. So
maybe they weren't that. Bro, but here's the thing, bro. If they were that good, they wouldn't have lost to the Utah Jazz.
Does that show you? Oh, so you telling me the number one player in assists and the number two scorer of all time aren't that good? Like
they're great. They're great. But they couldn't get to Game 7, could they?
No,
they couldn't get to Game 7.
Okay, once Jordan got an All-Star, you want to know how many Game 7 he's went through that entire run? He only went to 2. Right. One with the Knicks and one with the Pacers. That was it. Because he was beating everybody. But see, I look at this to LeBron. I'm gonna say this about LeBron. LeBron is a phenomenal player. But early on in his career, yes, as well as Jordan, he had to go through woes. But you look at Michael Jordan.
Did Michael Jordan take a team to the finals with no All-Stars?
He couldn't.
I don't care if it was a weak. I don't care if it was a weak conference. Just answer the question. Did LeBron James win a championship? Did Michael Jordan take a team to the finals with no All-Stars?
No, he did not. I will say that. No, he did not. That's a fact. Now, now this is what I say on my podcast right here. Facts without context is irrelevant. You can have all the facts in the world, but if you got no context behind it, it means nothing but about a pill of a bean. I'm telling you. Yes, LeBron James did do that, but I always look at his path. You look at Michael Jordan. Did Michael Jordan do it? No. But when you got to play the Boston Celtics, when you got to play Sidney Moncrief and the Bucks, when you got to play all these tough teams, the bad boys Pistons, if you don't have an All-Star, you ain't beating these boys. And look, even if you do have an All-Star, you still might beat these boys because these guys are good.
Well, you know what? I'm going to bring you context then, too. Okay, how about this? You said you cannot blame Michael Jordan for him just beating guys and they could never get to a Game 7. Well, you can't blame LeBron James for just killing the game and beating everybody and going to the finals by himself with no All-Stars.
Okay, well, see, if this was so much of no team and no All-Stars, because I surely remember when he got to those finals, he didn't perform too well in that 07 finals. Or when he did have help, it was like, okay, he didn't have no All-Stars. He need All-Star. Okay. Well, let's give him some All-Stars. Let's give him 2 of them out of Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in 2011. Oh, That's right. We did give you all-stars, and you still didn't perform. You scored 8 points in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. You only had score. You was only averaging 17 points. You got outscored by Dwayne Wade. You would sit here getting outscored by Jason Terry and JJ Barea, but you gonna sit here and tell me that I didn't have enough. Okay, look, we gave you all-stars. Okay, and then once your man voice started getting deeper, and then you started pitting on your back. Then, yes, he went to the playoffs, and then he started beating up on the boys. Then he beat the Spurs. He beat the Thunders first. Then he beat the Spurs. Then, see, this is what gets me. He just beat the Spurs team, but he was like, well, Bosh and Wade weren't the same guys they were the year before. So you're telling me this old team Spurs is the team that they were the year before? Because they were still the same old guys. They just got older. And, now I will say Golden State, the first time to Golden State, I will say this. Yes, he didn't have love of Kyrie. Congratulations. He didn't. But I will say this. He went up 2-1 in that 2015 finals. And in Game 4, had a chance to steal a game. Could have went up 3-1 on those Warriors because that Warriors team was young. He only scored 20 points, got outscored by Timothy Mozgov, his own teammate, in Game 4. And then, yes, obviously the next year went up 3-1, but I can go all day about that because if Draymond don't get suspended, that's not happening.
Hey, look, I hear you. But you know what? Here's my perspective, right? LeBron James had to learn how to win. Just like Michael Jordan had to learn how to win. He didn't get to the finals and lose like LeBron did, but he definitely did go to the playoffs and get smacked around trying to learn how to win. So that I just think they both reached a certain level. I think Michael was the GOAT. I just think LeBron James faced tougher competition in a longer career. You know what I'm saying? They were against them. I think personally, my GOAT for a long time was Wilt Chamberlain based on the stats.
All right. That's good.
Okay.
And for me, when I talk about numbers and stats and a career longevity, for me, it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, Kareem has a really great case to be the GOAT. I mean, and in all of basketball, in high school, he won the state championship every year, never lost a game. In college, he lost one game, won Player of the Year 3 years in a row. Ain't nobody ever did that. In his second year as a NBA player, won the championship and Finals MVP with him. Oscar Robertson could never win a title. Was winning MVPs. I think how many MVPs he got? I think he has 5, I believe, or I think 4 or 5. I could be mistaken. But then he got 3 final MVPs, 6 rings, 10 finals, most points all time, top 3 in rebounds, top 3 in blocks, top 3 in most minutes in games all play. I mean, the man has the numbers for years. So I have Kareem up there as well, but I like your Wilt Chamberlain stuff.
I like totally right about Kareem. Kareem does not get the respect he deserves. For me, it's Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, he owned at one point 51, 56 all-time records and stats and numbers and all that kind of stuff. Of course, he had the 50-point season average. Of course,
25 rebounds.
Check this out too. 1 year he led the league in scoring. The next year they said that he was a ball hog. He led the league in assists. As a See, let's talk about
it. See, stuff like that to me. See, that's why I can't understand how people discredit stuff like that. Like if somebody went up directly and said, "Oh man, only thing you can do is all you can do is just score. You don't even know how to pass the ball. Okay, let me go lead the league in passing. Oh, all you do is you pass. You can't score. Okay, let me go lead the league and score. He can do whatever you want him. Stuff like that just really, I don't understand how people don't understand how that type of stuff can really just get to me. Like, for instance, like with Michael Jordan, when it was like, Clyde Drexler's a better shooter than you, and then he hit those 5 or 6 threes in the first half and had 35 points just to prove to everybody that Clyde Drexler ain't a better scorer than he is. Like stuff like that to me, that's top level, man. I love that type of stuff. Proving everybody wrong.
25 points, 20 rebounds for seven seasons straight, back to back. 25 and 20. So that's one of my arguments, but I can go back and forth with it because I believe there's generational GOATs. There's not going to be just one GOAT because you never can tell. But my football top one, I got to go with my boy Jim Brown. Jim Brown, one, greatest of all time. Tom Brady, number 2.
Okay.
Lawrence Taylor, number 3.
Oh!
Yes.
my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I got to do my list right.
Lawrence Taylor number 3, Montana number 4, and Jerry Rice number 5. Now, granted, with Jerry Rice, here's my thing with Jerry Rice, okay? And I don't care if people don't like me for this, but I don't care. Jerry, to me, is like Emmitt Smith. I mean, think about it.
What?
Yes, think about it. Think about it. Both of them had extreme longevity. Both of them played for great championship level teams. Both of them weren't the most talented. Both of them worked really hard and became excellent at their craft. Okay, but they weren't always. You could argue that Emmitt Smith was not the most talented because Barry Sanders was. You could argue that Jerry Rice wasn't the most talented, but Randy Moss was. They both had a mental mindset to be great. They had vision. They had goals. The work ethic was crazy.
That's right.
But think about it. Think about it. Like Jerry Rice had Joe Montana and Steve Young.
That's just luck. That's some luck.
It is what it is. It's just a fact. Emmitt Smith had the greatest offensive line of all time. Of course, he had Troy Aikman. I'm a Cowboy fan, so he had Troy Aikman. Then he had Michael Irvin. I mean, just think about it, bro. It's just like he was just gifted with great talent. And so I'm not someone who's going to say Jerry Rice is the greatest because to me, a wide receiver is a dependent position. I understand that every position really is dependent, period. I mean, if you don't have an offensive line, a quarterback can't throw the football, period. Okay, a running back can't, even a great running back will struggle if his offensive line is bad. But I just think
position is the most dependent. I agree.
Exactly. And so for me, I look at it and I say, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss are just as good as Jerry Rice. The difference was the way that Jerry Rice trained, the way that Jerry Rice, his mental mindset. But when it comes to just pure talent, I might pick a Randy Moss. I don't think I'll pick Terrell, but Terrell's my favorite wide receiver of all time. Terrell Owens, not Terrell. Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens is my favorite receiver of all time, but
I met him multiple times here because I go to UTC, his college, when he had his Hall of Fame induction speech here. The whole football team, we had to go to it. So yeah, I've met him on multiple occasions. He would come to the locker room to some games. He would come to every homecoming game. He'd come to our practice. One time, a lot of people don't know this, but one time he ran scout team for the entire week for us at practice. He was out there running routes on the DBs. And you talking about a man that can get it at his age, boy.
Yeah.
He still got it. I tell you that much. It was exciting to see. But yeah, I agree with you what you're saying, bro. Talent-wise, yes. I don't think Jerry Rice is the most talented. I will say having those type of quarterback does help, but I will say this: when he got older and when he went to the Raiders,
with Rich Gannon,
Bruce Gannon was. But what did Bruce Gannon do beforehand and after that?
Oh, okay, that's fair. But when he was there, Rich Gannon was solid. It wasn't like
he was solid. I will say Randy Moss did. I mean, yes, I agree. Once Randy Moss got a good quarterback, and most consider him the GOAT, Tom Brady. We saw what he did. He had a phenomenal career. Same thing with. I mean, Terrell Owens did good with any quarterback he had majority of the time.
And he actually didn't have. I mean, look, Tony Romo was great. Okay, he was. He's statistically the greatest quarterback the Cowboys of all time, but he is not. He is not better than Troy Aikman. He is not at all. Like if Troy Aikman had it his way, he would have thrown for a lot more yards. I mean, he was precise, he was accurate, he had a deep arm, but the way that the style of football still was, it was still running back. Which I want to know your perspective on two things, and it's about football. So for one, you were a fullback in college, so you did a lot of blocking. What's your perspective on the running back style of football compared to what it was back in the day? The physicality of the sport, you know what I mean, is not the same. People don't value running backs. What's your thoughts on that? And then secondly, as a defender, with the way that the offensive style of play has just changed so much, it seems like defensive style football cannot stop these offenses?
Well, we're referring to your first question. Yes, looking at the type of running back we had. With my first coaching staff we had here till we switched over. We were more pro style. It was a pro style offense, and yes, we were more like we used to watch a lot of film on New England. We had a lot of coaches that came from that branch, that foreign branch of coaching. And we would run the ball that way. Get a fullback, and that's when I had a lot of playing. That's when I became a all-conference fullback. When we used to use me a lot, and at that time, using that type of running game, it was helping us because we had some of the best rushing yards we had in our school history at that time, and it was a different game. But then we sometimes have to switch over to what a lot of receivers are. A lot of running backs have to be now. Like, for instance, like Najee Harris or Christian McCaffrey, using those type of guys as examples. You can't only be able to, the only thing you can do is not be able to run between tackles, but you also got to be able to reach out the backfield. And that's something that wasn't really utilized back in the 80s and the early 90s or late 90s. Heck, until Marshall Faulk really did that, it wasn't a thing where, a running back have to catch. We were going to hand you a ball because, for one, fullbacks were used a lot. The Cowboys used a lot of great fullbacks so far. Not only for Emmett Smith, that's right, and for Tony Dorsett when he was running the ball. So a lot of the great running backs had a lot of good fullbacks. And Lorenzo Neal for LaDainian Tomlinson. Yes, beast, man. And you use that type of stuff for the run. It's just a different game because now this trend really runs over to the second thing. The game is so different because of the rules, and the rules is what helped the offense. And I literally just said this on my show in our last show. We talked about how offenses affect, because we was talking about the hit on Justin Fields in the Clemson game, and I was like, let's be honest, who do people pay to, like, offense sell tickets, defense win games, or defense win championships, offense score point. The old sayings, all those old sayings. Right. But obviously, who are people paying tickets? Who are people watching TV to watch it for? Are they going to watch that linebacker from Clemson, or are they paying the ticket to watch Justin Fields? I ain't gonna lie to you, the rules are surrounded around the offense. See, there used to be a time where people be like, you can have all the offense in the world, but you ain't got no defense. It don't matter. Basically, what the Big 12 and the Pac-12 used to be, a lot of just a bunch of offense, no defense. But then we saw last year in both the NFL and college, LSU had a phenomenal. We know of their offense with Joe Burrow and all those boys, but then their defense was awful. It actually was one of the lowest ranked to win a national championship out of the past 15 to 20 years. Crazy. But guess what? It didn't matter because we can outscore you. The Chiefs got down 24-0 to the Texans, 17-0 to the Titans, 20-10 to the 49ers. Oh, it don't mean anything. Because guess what? We can outscore you because of the way the rules are done. And I've seen many a time when guys just literally touch the shoulder pad of Patrick Mahomes 15 yards. Or if anybody saw week 17 when Kirk Cousins got sacked by the Lions, it was just a simple tackle, 15 yards. Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, he threw a pass that went for incomplete. That would have changed the game. And guess what? Oh, you touched his shoulder. You don't touch Tom Brady. 15 yards. So everybody getting these 50-yard penalties are barely touching quarterbacks. So it's so hard for the defensive players. And a lot of people think now it's hard to hit players. I remember when the Saints played the Vikings. You remember when Stephon Diggs made that catch? And I forgot who missed the tackle. I can't think of his name.
Marcus. What's his name? Marcus?
I don't think his name. But a lot of people, y'all remember the play when the Vikings called it for the game-winning touchdown. I can throw in the case. It probably wasn't the case, but I can throw in the case. He probably was saying, hey, if I hit this guy the wrong way, I could get a flag, which give them an extra play. Those are actually in the minds of the way that you have to play football now as a defensive player, which hurts the way defenses are actually schemed. So, like, for instance, I don't think Ray Lewis could be a Hall of Famer in today's game. I don't think Ed Reed could, because the way they used to hit
Ed Reed.
No, well, okay, I'll take that back. Okay, I'll take that back.
You was a ball hog.
No.
Troy would struggle. Troy would be the one that would. Because Troy is just such a physical monster. Think about it, right?
Yeah, I thought Ed Reed was more of a harder hitter.
No, Wait, no way. Troy Polamalu was a tougher hitter, but Henry was a ball hawk. Henry was like a
Every will smack you, boy.
no. Henry smack you. But Troy was known for his power and his brains. Like Henry was known for like his brains, but his finesse.
Yeah, finesse. Okay.
He was more known for his finesse. But Troy, like, you know what he would do? Like he would jump over the offensive line. He would do that when he was trying to block a kick. He would do that to try to sack the quarterback. You can't do that anymore. And so I think he would have to change a lot of the style. But I blame Tom Brady. And I'm a Tom Brady fan. But this is what happened. I think it was in 2008. So in 2007, the Patriots were 18-0. 18-0. And they had the greatest offensive team at the time. Randy Moss, 22 touchdowns. Tom Brady, 50 touchdown passes. The next season, Tom Brady gets hit in the knee, in the leg. He's out for the whole year. Boom. Rule changes. The game of football that me and you grew up on is finished.
It's finished. That's right. And I 100% agree. And then you go back to like 2 years later, not 2 years, like 2 years ago with the Aaron Rodgers rule. You can't put your weight on a quarterback because that picked Rodgers out for 8 games. And like I said, who are they coming to see? Are they coming to see that defensive lineman that's playing? If your name not Aaron Donald or J.J. Watt, they're really not coming to see. Now, I could throw in T.J. Watt in there a little bit. But let's be honest. Who are these guys actually coming to see? I'm coming to see the Aaron Rodgers or the Tom because they sell the tickets. They the face of the NFL. Is it fair? No. But that's just the way it is. And I don't agree with it either being a defensive player because I don't give two jacks what you coming to see. If I'm ready to hit that quarterback, I'm smacking him. He's a football player. That's the point of playing football. You know, they supposed to if that's not the case of letting them get hit, then that's the I just truly don't agree with that. It's just so much stuff I don't agree with. And they changed the rules.
They're lying. They're lying to the people. See the whole and I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother.
No, you good. No, go.
They're lying to the people. You see, people are falling in love with this Madden style. You know, the video games and scoring 1,000,000 points, scoring. So I mean, I played it. I mean, I created this player that was like 7 foot wide receiver, and we just football straight up, and we get 78, and it was like to 12. Like the problem is this. People want to see great players, whether it's offense, whether it's defense. You got to be able to have a level playing field because the way that the system is set up, defenders are actually getting more injured now than what they were before because they have to be worrisome about the rules. They can't hit a certain way. So the only way they can hit. So it's funny to me. So they talk about player safety, but then they don't protect their defensive players. This is going to ruin football. Do you want to see football or arena football? That's period to me.
That's right. That's right. No, you basically just put it out there. But see, what they're going to try to sit here and do, they know the Americans love their football. They know that, yes, that's why they forced it. That's why through the pandemic era, they ain't going to make sure football is being played. Especially like, the SEC. They ain't going like the SEC was like, forget what's going on. We going to play some football. Hey, Nick Saban, all them boys, we in the South. Hey, football is our religion. If you don't play football, you ain't a Southern. You ain't going to heaven if you don't play football in the South. That's the way they look. Look, it's crazy. But that's just the way, and they're going to use that to use it against us, saying you're going to watch it regardless. What's going to stop you? I mean, we've been doing football. I mean, it's very similar to, I think it's going to slowly die. Now, I don't want to say slowly die, but it'll slowly kill itself. And until something very similar in a way, like for instance, and I use this a very similar, like boxing. Boxing was the pinnacle of any fighting for all the years. You had the great big time heavyweights, then you had your middleweights, your light weights, you had all of them. But then here comes a sport called MMA. And then when the money started corrupting boxing, then when things started to be corrupt in boxing, and people were disagreeing with each other. Okay, here go this new sport. Oh man, now here comes this new sport that changes the way they approach things. And there's now MMA slowly, to me, like right now, to me, I think it's the number one fight game.
No, it's MMA, and I'm a boxing guy. Okay,
I like boxing too.
I grew up a boxing fan. I grew up watching Floyd Mayweather, and for me, boxing has really been kind of like illegal since the '60s. Okay, because the mafia ran it.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think what happened with boxing is a few things. So, like, for one, it became everything became about the money.
Yeah.
Okay, it stopped being about just the sport. It became just about the money, how much money I can make. Then it became about them making too many belts.
Yes, okay? I solely disagree with that one, man. Dog, I hate all them belts, but yeah.
All them belts. And then two, the promotions, they do not fight the best fighters because they want to protect their fighters. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. And that's the problem with boxing. The money, the corruption, plus also the health. You see, this is what I think too. The difference between MMA and boxing is that MMA is newer and people don't know the huge side effects that MMA could potentially have on people years to come. Whereas in boxing, when you see some of these great fighters, and when you look at some of these great fights, right, they're just swinging at each other. There's no, like in today's fight game, you'll see guys, they're like studying each other. They're not, they might not throw, some people, they don't even really throw punches until like the third or fourth round.
That's right. You're right.
Back in the day, they're throwing haymakers the whole fight. The whole fight. You watch it. I remember watching that fight. I think it was Alexis Aguera. I think his name Alexis Aguera, and I think he was fighting Aaron Pryor. And man, I was like, you should watch that fight. So I watched that fight, and these are like welterweights just going ham, and I was shocked out of my mind.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. When you see those type of fights like that, it makes you, because think about it. These guys used to do this. You know, they got 12 rounds for now for boxing. They used to do 15. Yeah, they just swinging. So imagine, that's the reason why the shape and the stuff. Now that we have the science behind this stuff, the advanced technology. I mean, the supplements that can help the body to help it recover faster. The stuff that we know is different, but they also show you the type of shape that those guys were in back then. And I know, man, I think about like some of the stuff that these guys would do. Like hearing the stories, like I would hear stories of certain guys going and run, 10 to 12 miles. Like I ran 12 miles once and I never run it again. I tell you that. I've never run 12 miles ever again. So to run 12 miles a day, 10 to 12 a day, oh boy.
Right. There was I forgot who Muhammad Ali fought in 1980. It was a friend of his, and this is when Muhammad Ali was way past his prime. He shouldn't have even really been fighting. But for training camp, he let somebody literally just hit him in his whole body, and he didn't even really defend himself. He was trying to train himself on how to not feel pain, he literally was getting, Muhammad Ali wasn't even the same fighter, and he was struggling a little bit. Like he didn't have the same charisma, the same speech, because that he was taking.
He was taking a lot of hits.
So that's one of the reasons why boxing also, I feel like, does not have the same relevance, because people literally see the great boxers who put everything on the line, who put their body on the line. They're mentally not the same. And
And you're right, bro, because I look at this now, like for instance, I just called him Garcia. He just fought this past week, and a lot of people didn't even know he was fighting, which is sad. And he's a top boxer that a lot of people know of, and guys like him, Gervonta Davis, and the Deontay Wilders or the Tyson Furies, like. For one, heavyweight boxing ain't the same where it used to be as well. There's only like 3 to 4 heavyweight boxers that makes a name. And yes, it just, like, you look at MMA, and that's the thing about Dana White. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you look like a star, Dana White said, well, we're gonna test you. You want to, like he say, so you want to be an ultimate fighter. Yes, sir. Like Michael Chandler. This man, he already fighting. He fighting Dan Hooker already. Like, that's not an easy fight. When Justin Gaethje first got in, he fought Michael Johnson in his first fight. Like, he was like, if these guys want to fight, I'm gonna put you against the best matchup I think possible. Like, and that's what I love about Dana, because he gonna make the best matchup. You know, we always question about this and that. Whatever the best matchup, for one, that's gonna help him make money, one. But two, that's gonna get the fans excited. He's gonna make that fight. The only one he can't make a good fight for is Nunes, because I mean, she gonna run through everybody. Ain't gonna lie to you. I don't see nobody beating her. But it's just hard for boxing, because like you said, they start trying to build up fighters' records. Dana don't do that. Dana's not building up your record. He's like, if you're gonna be considered the best, you're gonna beat. Look at who all Dustin Poirier had to fight. Look who all guys like Anthony Pettis, like all these champions, like back to back. Like I look at that. Like I look at Justin Gaethje when after he fought Michael Johnson, he had to fight Eddie Alvarez, and then Dustin Poirier. Like, how do I get these my first 3 fights? I'm fighting UFC Hall of Famers back to back to back. Like, come on. But see, that's just the level of like booking in MMA. There's no such thing as a shortcut. You got to go through the best to be the best. So
and you said it best. Preparation. Yeah. Preparation key. As a fighter, you always have to be. And there's a boxer that I know. Shout out to him, Calvin Dante Dickerson. He's 168 pounds. He stays at 168 pounds. That's what you got to be.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
He stays on his fight weight the entire time.
Bro, he's literally, he looks yes. I can't even,
wow. That's some dedication right there, boy.
That's real.
Dedication.
Yes, sir. Calvin dedication. Golden Glove. So he's kind of got that MMA mentality, like, and that boxing mentality too, of like just staying ready, like no matter what. Because like you said, Dana White will call you. But the one thing I like about MMA is also, shout out to Dana White and UFC, but now you have other great promotions. You have Bellator. Yeah, the PFL MMA. I mean, you have one championship. So, I mean, there's so many. And honestly, mixed martial arts, in my humble opinion, is going to be the biggest sport in the world very soon, if it's not already.
I agree. I mean, it's just constantly growing, and you know, UFC is trying to grow in itself. It's trying to start growing to wrestling, having its own wrestling promotion. It's trying to start, you know, I think it might steal a little bit of what one is doing. Start having straight up Muay Thai or straight up kickboxing. Like, one to me is like, I think the platform, basically like the map to what everybody wants to get to, where I can have all these different mixed martial arts, but all in one promotion. So I think, and Dana White saying he's trying to get something with boxing with Floyd. So I don't know what that is, you know. And now I got a question for you. What's your thoughts on the Nate Robinson, Jake Paul, and then a Logan Paul, and Nate Floyd? What you think?
Okay. So this is what I think. All right. So for one, Nate Robinson legit thought he could beat Jake Ryan, because he's like, look, I'm this black dude. I've been in street fights. Here's this rich white dude. I'm just telling you what, this is what, and that's why I know that's what he thought.
Yeah, you know what with his mind.
He's been coddled. He's been on Disney. He ain't gonna beat me. And so he didn't even train. But what he didn't know was that Jake Paul has been putting in the work.
Yes.
Jake Paul was, I mean, he's not no professional like Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. Of course not. You put him up against those dogs, he taking a nail. That's fact. Right. Okay. Yeah. But you put him on the street if you put a regular dude who's been in scraps like a Nate Robinson, and you put on a Jake Paul, and he goes in there in the ring, Jake Paul's gonna mess him up, because he's got that muscle memory, he's got that training, he's got that experience. So respect to Nate Robinson, because one, he's a bold brother. I mean, he was a guy who's kind of like you in a way, like the size. Like, people were like, "Oh, well, your size, you can't do this, you can't do that." But he beat the odds, bro. He beat the odds in basketball. Do you know he was a football player too?
That's right. Almost made the team for the Seahawks.
Yes, and so he was a basketball player, football player. he was like, man, I could do anything I want to do. I mean, he dunked on Shaq, for goodness sake. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't it wasn't prime Shaq, but it was still Shaq. You know what I mean?
It was still Shaq, yeah. It's still Shaq.
Shaq is my favorite player of all time. So that was pretty amazing. He's bold, but he should have taken it more seriously, because I think what's going to happen now is that no one's going to take him seriously. He's got to build that brand up again. He's got to build himself up, and he cannot. Man. So I think people can take him seriously, but right now, Nate Robinson cannot care what people think. He's just got to start from ground zero and start again.
Because he said he's thinking about getting back in there, and I'm glad he has a good heart, because he said back on some of the posts, it's like in his friends group chat, they were sending all the memes and all the stuff, and he was just laughing along with him. He said he understood what he got himself into, and I said the same thing, man. You can't, like, and Stephen A said it best, so did Snoop Dogg. You can't play boxing. Nope. And this is a different game, boy. You come in here, and I like when Conor McGregor said to Draymond Green, he said, "You bounce balls, I bounce heads off canvases." I love that, man. And that's a different thing, man. A lot of people think they can just get in this game and get to fighting. It's like, oh man, I can beat him out. And it's so funny. Like, I even have to debate this sometimes with my teammates. They're like, "You sit here to tell me you think I can't beat Ronda Rousey or Conor McGregor? I weigh 225, da 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 da." And I was like, now let me tell you something. Yes, you might weigh more, but y'all don't know what these people train with. These folks train with men, and like I don't people. You act like you might sit here and think that you just going to fight and beat Ronda Rousey because you weigh 145 or 135. Go ahead and keep thinking that. But I'm telling you, when you fight these pro UFC fighters, I don't think y'all understand. But the muscle twitch, you can grab and you shake their hand, it feels like they're gonna break your hand. Like if you ever been in a grip by a pro, like when I was training with Cole Miller, like I felt the grip, like of him, like teaching me certain submissions, and I'm like, oh my god! And this man only weighs like 150, 160, and his grip was like, oh my gosh, crazy. But see, that's years of fighting, just building up. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think they can get in. Jake Paul been training. He's been training for about 2 to 3 years anyway. You know, you just can't jump in, Nate Robinson, and think you're going to do that. I mean,
just because you're from the streets, you got that mentality don't mean, look, but I will say this for your teammates, they can't win in the octagon. But if it was a street fight, look, just hit them as hard as you can. That's
hit them as hard as you can and hope they get knocked.
Exactly. But to answer your question about Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, Lord.
So, like, okay. So
this is what makes boxing your joke.
This is my thing, right? This is my thing, right? So this is how I see it. All right, it's a money move, obviously. It's a money move. It is. Yeah. It's all it is. It's an exhibition match. I hope it's an exhibition match. So if it's an exhibition match, who cares? Honestly, if it's a real pro fight, that's one thing. But if it's just an exhibition match, let him make his money. But if it's a pro fight, then that's more disrespectful, because you got a guy who is Floyd Mayweather, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, fighting a guy who basically says, I don't care if I win or lose. Come on now.
Let's see, and that's a disrespect, because you know how hard it is for boxers right now to try to get a fight with Floyd. It would take, they actually have to take them years, because they got to build up their resume. This man that walked in said, we can make money. They basically just trash talking Floyd. Floyd literally was like, I don't even know who you are. And he said, just because you trash talking me like this, I'm going to set the fight up. So stuff like that, man.
Well, Floyd's going to take fights that he can win. Like, listen, okay, think about it, right?
There you go. Floyd, he's going to do that now.
Floyd, okay, look. Here's my thing, right? Floyd is in his 40s, man. Floyd has been retired for some time, man.
Yeah, he has.
He can't go against these dogs,
Young
man.
Guys.
He can't go against Errol Spence.
No,
he can't go against Crawford. He can't go against any of these guys.
I don't think he can go against Canelo. I don't think he can beat Canelo right now.
No, absolutely not. Canelo. Look, but I tell you what, though, he beat him. He did beat him, though.
A young Canelo.
It don't matter. It don't, because here's the thing about boxing, though. Here's the thing about boxing. Okay, let's just be honest about it. Historically and traditionally speaking, your best boxing years were when you were younger. So at the end of the day, look, as great as Canelo is, and he's great. He's my favorite boxer. But historically and from a traditional standpoint in boxing, you are better when you're younger. Even Floyd Mayweather was a better boxer as a younger person than older person. You just watch the fight. If you have not watched this fight, watch the fight he had against Arturo Gatti. Arturo Gatti,
I remember that fight.
A good boxer. Floyd destroyed him.
But see, I'm gonna tell you something about that. But see, the thing is with Floyd now, Floyd understood. I will say this is the part because my coach, actually Larry Scott, for me, a lot of people don't know he actually was a striking coach for Randy Couture, and he also he's been around. He used to live in Los Angeles for majority of his life, and he used to be around the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Roger Mayweather. He tells those stories about the Mayweathers all the time. He used to be around Floyd when he was younger, starting up his career before he moved, and he tells all of these fight stories, and he will talk about how the cerebral boxing knowledge of the Mayweather is just it's top notch. He's like, he said, being honest, they might don't have the best, speech, pediment. They speak, obviously, but overall boxing knowledge, man, let me tell you something. He said it's IQ top level. So passing it on to the son, he understood, man, I don't have to take a single hit and still win these fights. So I just got to be in better shape. So he would get guys frustrated, bang, counter, the little shoulder roll, bang, counter. Like he's teaching his guy all of this stuff because he knows it's going to frustrate the fighter. If I'm sitting here for 4, 5, 6 rounds, like you say, you gotta remember, especially, ain't gonna lie, we're going against a lot. If anybody know about the way boxing, the Mexican heritage of boxing, they're more of like a little bit swing and bang. They'll take a shot to give you 3, 4. And Floyd like, okay, I'm going against these certain guys, bang, bang, hit me, bang, bang, bang. He's like, I'm trying to hit this guy, I can't hit him. It's frustrating. Okay, and then guess what? Then he start piecing you up, counters, body shots. And it's not that it's actually hurting you, it's just aggravating you. So you get out of your game, and Floyd beat you that way. So.
But you know what? I think, okay, here's my thing, right? So yes, Floyd had brittle hands in his later years. But he had enough power for them to respect him.
Yep.
At the end of the day, somebody could say, well, they were like pillows and this and that. Well, then how come you didn't punch him harder? How come your volume of punches was not more if his hands were pillows? If his punches were pillows, then you should have been like Maidana, except actually hitting him, because Maidana actually didn't really. He tackled him. Okay, but that was not a bro. That was not a boxing match. That was a fight. There's a difference.
Yeah.
So I just think at the end of the day, to me, Floyd's the GOAT.
He's one of the greatest. I can't give him the GOAT, but he's one of the greatest.
Oh, I say he's the GOAT because the amount of champions. He's beaten 23 champions in his career.
Okay, look at Sugar Ray Robinson. I think Sugar Ray Robinson is the GOAT, in my opinion.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yes.
Respect.
189 and 17. The man will beat more champions than anybody in boxing. The guy is just up there amongst the best. Now people's like, well, who did he fought? Now, no, he ain't gonna have a lot of big names because we weren't back there at that time. But this guy beat somebody so bad he killed a man. So hey, that's just...
I feel you. But you can make a similar point to a lot of great fighters. Muhammad Ali. You could say Jack Johnson. The first
Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson. Can't think of his name. That's another guy. I can't think of his name. He had power.
Ali.
Now,
you talking about the Brown Bomber.
Yes. Joe Louis. There you go, Joe Louis. Yeah, Joe Louis. Hey, that man. They said that man used to be able to punch some jokers. They couldn't breathe for 3 weeks.
The thing about Joe Louis, bro, and I want your perspective on this. Joe Louis died broke. He died almost penniless. I think some people helped him out. I think one of his friends helped him out at the end. But Joe Louis and a lot of athletes kind of deal with this too. Joe Louis he had a heart of gold. So he would give to everyone. He would give to his family. He would give to his friends. He would give to everyone. And the fact of the matter is he gave himself where he was basically dry in the empty. Mm. And those same people who he gave to, they didn't give back to him.
Give back to him.
He needed it. So we see this a lot in football, basketball athletes, especially in the Black community, brother, where it's like, as an athlete or just as a Black person, they're like, okay, save us, take us out of our situation. You're gonna be the main breadwinner.
You're our cash cow.
Exactly. And then what happens is you're giving so much to different people. And the fact of the matter is, in the NFL, there's only a 3-year career for the average NFL player. That's okay. Right. So you're giving all your money away and then you end up broke. So what's your thoughts on one, athletes being the cash cow, and how do you think the new generation of athletes should handle that?
Now you have to really be like honest on this entirely, because I would say this, to be honest, a lot of Black people that make the league are mostly poor. Let's be honest. A lot of the Black players that make the basketball, football, they come from nothing. So when they see all of this money, they see all these opportunities, they say, oh man, this is big time. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Like, a lot of people think, and I'm on this side. Like I say, if a person made the league, yes, it's fine that you help your mom and your dad. But if they are doing okay and, they're doing all right, they got a decent house, it's not time for them to buy. You shouldn't buy them a house yet and then buy yourself a house and then buy a new car and then buy them a new, like, buying all of that. I mean, we understand that you love them, but wait a second, give yourself 1 to 2 years, because a lot of people, when they see the money, they think it's spend, but they don't understand the things behind it, like taxes, like mortgages. I mean, you got to constantly pay on this stuff. And if you're not having the income, it's about your income. And if your income is not consistent with what you're paying, I mean, you're at a loss already. I mean, a lot of athletes don't understand the thing about money and saving and investing. I look at Rob Gronkowski and the way he was talking. He said he did not spend a single dime of his paycheck. All the money that he used was all based off what he advertised. All his advertisement money, all his money that he used his name and face in. Now, not everybody gets those opportunities. Now, I will say that sometimes you got to use your paycheck, but you have to save up a large sum of it. Like, and I'm a big Gary Vee guy. You ever heard of Gary Vee? I like him. I really do enjoy him a lot. He always talk about living below your means. So let's say if you're making 30,000, live like you're only making 12,000, because in the long run, that helps you. That helps you understand about saving money, because if you only live for the moment now, financially, then when you hit 50, 40, then you won't be worth anything, because it's not going to make a difference. So, it's good to, it's okay to buy something here and there. There's nothing wrong with that. But to be wise on it, there's no use. So if I'm making, let's say if I'm an NFL player and I just got $1 million contract, okay, I'm living as if I'm a insurance person, only making 150,000 or 200,000, because that's enough money for you to live on. Like, I have a few teammates that are a guy I used to roommate with. He played on the Browns right now. His name is Tay Davis. And I know another teammate, Keontae Davis and CJ Board. They all in the NFL right now. We always on the same team. And they live with roommates, and they're in the NFL, but they have roommates, because there's no use for me to get a whole $1,000, $2,000 apartment a month for no reason. Let me get a roommate, pay my $600 to $700 a month, and be fine with it. Like I say, live below your means, so you can have those type of opportunities. Now, as time go on, you get bigger contracts. Yes, you can do more things, but there's no reason and no use for you to be using your money that way. So people got to be wiser about their money. And like you say, it's a lot of us with Black athletes. They don't understand. They don't know how to use that to their advantage. And I will say you have some white athletes that be in the same situation. They come from poor backgrounds, but a lot of them, in some cases, I won't say most, in some cases, they have a good family that helps them out from behind the scenes. Let's be honest, mostly, let's say quarterbacks. The quarterback is predominantly a white position, just being honest. So with that being said, and I ain't gonna lie to you, it's very rare that I've seen a poor quarterback. And most of them, they have really good families behind them. So
yeah, even the black quarterbacks,
Yeah, they have really good families behind them, man. I don't really see poor quarterbacks.
Good
even
point.
at Tom Brady, like his parents were, pretty, they were, I wouldn't say rich, but they were pretty well. Look at
Russell
Johnny
Wilson,
Manziel.
rich. Russell Wilson, rich.
Russell Wilson. There you go. See, these
Patrick,
guys, there you go. So it's more of like D-line, linebacker, wide receiver, the ones they got to struggle to make it through. Quarterbacks, they most of the time come in already set some of the time. But it's about how you got to know how to use your money. And a lot of people, and now they have financial classes. Tate told me they give financial classes now to NFL athletes as they approach. So once they make the team, once they make the 53-man roster, they I don't know if it's a requirement, but they must take a financial class to help them out in the long run. And it is crucial. It's crucial. It's needed in basketball, football, all baseball. I mean, a lot of people don't know how to spend their money wisely as a professional athlete. So
exactly. I agree, man. But just last point, you kind of spoke on it in a way, just like the financial aspects of the game, but also in our culture, we need to also celebrate not just being athletes. Like for you, you're commentating, you're on ESPN Plus, and I think one of the things that we need to do, especially for Black men, is we need to promote. We can promote the sports. We can promote having fun, being football, basketball, baseball, MMA, boxing, whatever. But we also need to talk about the jobs that might not be as flashy. The doctors, the lawyers, the sports reporters, all these kind of opportunities that are out here for Black men and Black women that we need to celebrate as well.
That's right. You're 100% right on that. Like a lot of people don't celebrate. You don't see big time posts for, oh man, this guy just became a lawyer. He just became a doctor. He just graduated grad school. I mean, you see people posted on Instagram, but they don't get the same recognition if somebody said, I am now declaring for the NFL draft. I've just signed a scholarship to play football at Alabama. They don't get the same recognition because it's not valued the same way. People, I ain't gonna lie to you. It just the way it is within our culture, but athletes get a different type of respect, than certain people that are just, regular day jobs that should also be accomplished because that is what keeps these athletes going. I mean,
exactly.
That's what you understand, if you don't have a personal trainer or a doctor, all these torn ACLs and all these bad ankles and knees and backs and arms and legs, all these injuries, they won't be worth nothing without these guys. So yes, and you said it perfectly. It's got to be presented more within our culture and held up to a higher standard than it already is. You're right.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, Torrez, man, that was great, man. I mean, I appreciate your time, bro. This was good, man. I cannot wait to see what you do February 5th. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it, but hey, look, I'm definitely hoping.
We got it on pay-per-view. Once the pay-per-view come out,
okay.
Yeah, it'll come out on pay-per-view. Valor fights they'll send the link. They usually send the link 2 weeks before the fight. Okay. So I mean, I definitely get that link to you, brother. And yes, you will, not gonna lie, man. It's gonna be exciting. As of right now, me and Tristan, we actually will be the main event. So I can't wait for this fight. I can't wait for everything that's, to build up, and I'm just excited, man. I can't really I'm just really excited to show everybody, what I've been training for this entire time. So this is gonna be exciting, and people that think they know me, look, y'all don't know me yet, man.
They don't know you.
They don't know me, man. They don't know me.
Yes. I wait to see two former football players dog it out in the octagon. I cannot wait to see it. Appreciate you, Torrez.
Thank you, brother. You too, man.
And everybody, if you do not get a chance, if y'all didn't hear TNT podcast, check it out. Where can they find you? Just on, is it YouTube,
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. And I will say, I mean, I really enjoy this. We got to get you on the show one of these times. And whenever we get you free,
absolutely.
me and Tyler, we get you. We'll definitely talk some sports. He's a big LeBron guy too. So I'm gonna need some backup. I gotta go find me somebody to help me out a little bit.
Hey, I can be unbiased because I like Michael Jordan too. I think he's the GOAT. I think Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Okay.
Yeah. And you are in North Carolina now, so you better be mindful of what you say.
I don't care, bro. I'm a State fan. I didn't know
You're a
Carolina.
North Carolina State fan.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Where I mean, yeah, I'm a State fan. It's sad, but it is. I mean, it's kind of sad sometimes because we ain't really won since '84. But hey, we always beat them in football, especially when Russell was here. And we beat them a while. Now they got Mac Brown. Things are going,
Yeah.
But they're gonna switch back. They're gonna switch back to Carolina being good. But I grew up a State fan. I hated Carolina for a while, but then I worked for Carolina, so I got love for Carolina now.
Yeah, you gotta develop it.
I got love for Carolina now, but I'm State all the way, baby. I'm State all the way. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But hey, Torrez, it was good, man. Appreciate your time, brother. I'm gonna hit you up whenever you guys are free to do the TNT podcast. Let me know.
Yeah, we definitely gonna try to get you on there, bro. I really enjoyed this, so definitely gonna get back on here with you again. So I'm excited, man. I can't wait. Thank you very much, brother.